Welcome, Transformer fans! My name is Composite Enerjoe, and welcome to the new year. Full of new reviews, which brings me to today's review, which is the Transformers Legacy Target exclusive Buzzworthy Bumblebee Voyager class Heroic Maximal Dinobot. Yes, that is a mouthful, but that is technically the full title of this figure. But don't worry, that the title of the video is not going to be that long. I'm going to shorten it down just a wee bit. But yes, here we have the Target exclusive Buzzworthy Bumblebee Dinobot, or the Dinobot repaint if it wasn't obvious enough. This here is a repaint of the Kingdom of the Transformers Kingdom Voyager class, well, Dinobot. So yeah, the big difference is that this version, its paint job is more accurate to the original 1996 Dinobot Deluxe Class figure. While the Kingdom one was a lot closer to the show, which, if I remember correctly, was very show accurate. It was like really close. It was very nice. And this one is also pretty nice too, because it has the same paint job as the original toy. Because yeah, the toy didn't look exactly like the because that toy, I believe, predated the show by just a little bit. So the design, so when they designed it for the show, they changed it a bit. So yeah, so that's where this one comes in. And yeah, so yeah, here he is. So here is Dinobot in his iconic Velociraptor mode. And I use air quotes because I think it's already pretty common knowledge that this is not a Velociraptor. It's just this is what people assume is when this is what pop culture has decided is a Velociraptor. But if you know, this is way too big. However, because the name sounded cool, pop culture has decided to, use this design. But funny enough, around the 90s, they did uncover, and you probably know what movie I'm referring to when I say pop culture, but yeah, they did discover a raptor that was this big. That was, taller than a man. It was called a Utah raptor, and I believe there was also another variation called the Deinonychus. I think that's a separate raptor. I don't remember if that's the same thing as a Utah raptor. I'm like 95% sure those are two different animals. So yeah, this is a Velociraptor, which I will admit is a better sounding name. However, I will view this as sort of his either Utah Raptor mode or his Deinonychus mode, since this is now the second Dinobot that I have. Well, technically third, because I've done videos on both the original 96 figure, which had like Frankenstein parts, but I have it, and also the Kingdom show accurate Dinobot, which is this figure. However, this figure was brought to me by my lovely wife Enerjane, who got it for me as a Christmas present. It was a big surprise, and her sort of reasoning is that she got it for me because she liked the paint job. She liked how it looked. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Even though I technically have this figure, but I technically don't. So, yeah, it's different. And besides, she got it for me out of love, so, I'm not going to say no to that. Although, funny story, she did one time did try and get me Black Arachnia, like the Deluxe Kingdom Black Arachnia. And her reasoning was because its robot mode had, breasts. So she got a chuckle out of it, and she thought it would be a chuckle for me. However, I had already gotten that figure like months earlier. And since it was the same exact figure, she ended up having to return it, which is sad. But if I figured I'd share that funny story with y'all. So yeah, I think I've talked about enough of his Raptor mode. So yeah, here it is. Articulation, because this is a beast mode. So arms can go, rotate there, in and out, hinge there, and ball joint at the wrist. Yeah, I guess that's a wrist. Legs can go out, in, bend at the knee, and back. Oh, ankle, that's right. Swivel at the ankle, as well as a hinge there. And then the front 3 claws are on a hinge, as well as the 2 back claws. Tail does not move. Head doesn't really move. I mean, you can kind of turn it a little, but that's for transformation. However, the mouth does move, and it has nice painted teeth and a tongue, which is very nice. This looks very, very nice. So he's very posable for, you know, a raptor. So now, let's get into transformation, because I think I've rambled on a bit too long with this one. And when we get into his robot mode, I'll go into like another fun fact with him that's kind of like, I guess it was like accidental, like it's an accidental little factoid. So yeah, onto transformation. So how do we start? Oh, you lift these up. You come back here, and you see these little pegs here. Just go separate. Pull out. You gotta be very careful here. Separate a bit, and then fold down. And then you pull this entire thing down. Strain out. Fold that in until it clicks. Fold it in until it clicks. Straighten this out. These are basically his legs. Fold out and flip out the heel. You go really far back, so careful. The heels, and the lower half is pretty much done. Last step is to rotate the waist forward. So now his cod piece is facing forward like so. And then for this part, what was this part? Oh, you take the dino head. Oh, this little piece of the neck is spring-loaded, so because it closes a gap, which is a nice detail. You just push it in for a sec, and then fold this down. That's pretty much ready to go. For the dino hands, there's a peg here and a port here on this hand. So just fold it in until they're connected. Sort of peg them together. And then you got to do something a little bit finicky with this. And then the next step is to remove the tail, because this is his weapons. Come back here for the nice head reveal. And yeah, this is actually a different head than the Kingdom one. And I'll explain a little bit where this head came from. So then we go to... Okay. Then you fold this down. Separate this. And then you fold this out. So separate, and then fold. So here we have these pieces like so. And then you connect it here, like so. You then bring it down like so. And then this piece will peg into the back of the dino head, like so. And this you fold until these side pegs, if we can see it, these little pegs here on the sides. There we go. These pegs on the sides will then peg into these ports on the inside. You kind of have to force it, which is a shame. You have to like. I think I got one in. I would have liked if there was like a smoother way of doing this, but there we go. You just gotta line it. You gotta line it up. Yeah. Make sure it's all lined up. Fold these like so. Make sure. Come on. There we go. It's all connected. And then with his arms up like so, you bring, hold on. He's getting a wee bit tall. There we go. He's getting a wee bit tall. So then you bring these pieces down. Make sure the dino arms out of the way. You bring these down, like so, down. And then the dino arms, you bring them in, and there's a very small like indentation here that you peg into here. So you just maneuver it in there, and it'll peg into place. Same thing here, like so. Then you rotate this to create his shoulder. Rotate this, bring the arm down. Then fold down these pieces, well, the hinges, so that they make his hands. Down, hands. And there we have There we go. There we have Dinobot in his robot mode. It's actually, for some weird reason, his hips wiggle a little bit. I don't know why. It's a little loose there. Everything else is tight, but he can shake his... My figure can shake his hips. I don't know if that's... I don't know why. I don't know if that's a figure, if that's something. I don't remember the Kingdom Dinobot doing that. But this one can shake his hips, so that's something, I guess. So yeah, here we have him in his not dino mode, in his Dinobot and his robot mode, and it looks really, really good. Before I go any further, this figure is amazing, and like each version of this figure is really, really nice. The original Kingdom one is fantastic and show accurate. This one is fantastic and toy accurate, and even the other repaint, which is Grimlock, I'll explain now, which is Grimlock, is also fantastic because it's the same mold. It's a really good mold. I don't blame him for, using it. I just feel that, well, not yet. Excuse me. Let me finish with this one. So yeah, here's the head sculpt. And yeah, if you notice, it's very Optimus Prime-y looking, which is very cool. But yeah, this is based off of the head sculpt that the original 96 figure had. He didn't have the one from the show. He had something resembling this. It was like a small, blue Optimus Prime head. Looks really cool, and I like how this is replicated here. So yeah, head is on a ball joint, since we're here. Articulation, he's got a bunch. Rotation there, hinge there, swivel there, bend there, swivel, and hands. Has a waist. Like, he's very articulated out that far, forward, back. There's a swivel up there, bend at the knee, no swivel at the knee, ankle, and up and down. Up and down ankle, and the heel can also move. So yeah, he's very, very posable. Whoops. Like, he's very, very, very posable. Yeah, I can kind of do the superhero landing with him. Kind of. But yeah, he's very, very posable, which is nice. So now onto his accessories, which is just his tail weapons, which is like, it's accurate. He doesn't have anything extra, but it's accurate. Here's his tail, and then you pop this open. You just gotta stick your finger on the sides, pop it open. This one kind of pegs into there. All right, so there we have it. Pull out the sword. Here we have the... In the show, this was a shield, so you just plug it into here. It was a shield, but it spun. And the original toy had a little bit of a trigger mechanism where the tail would start spinning because it was a spinning shield. And I think he also used it as a weapon. And you can kind of replicate it here by just twisting his hand. Or, if you really want to, I don't recommend it, but you can... Like, you can rotate it on the actual peg itself and do that. So it's nice that you have the flexibility to do that, even though again, if you're not familiar with the show, you would know that that's what it's supposed to do. And then the sword, you just pegging it like here. And there we go. Close it. And boom. He has his sword and he has his non-spinning spinning shield. But this is supposed to be a shield. I remember from the show. And I don't know if this version of Dinobot, if the toy one was supposed to have laser eyes. I do know the show he had laser eyes. I don't know if this one is supposed to have that. I feel like that might be a show exclusive power. So yeah, Dinobot. And let me go into size comparisons. He's a Voyager class, so here is a Deluxe Ratchet. Whoops. And Legion Cliff Jumper. So yeah, he's fairly tall, which is nice. And... Doopy-doo. Alright, and yeah, overall, like I said, it's an amazing figure. I really love this mold. This is a fantastic figure. All variations of this mold is fantastic. So here's sort of the elephant in the room I wanted to address. And I'm not talking about Ironhide. Lame joke. If you get it, you get it. But that's pretty much a lame joke. But yeah. So fun little observation I noticed. So this is a toy accurate repaint of Dinobot. However, it has a different head, so it's technically a retool. But prior to the release of this Target exclusive figure, I think a couple months earlier, there was an Amazon exclusive figure as part of a double pack that had a Grimlock. It was this mold with this head that was repainted into Grimlock, and he was packed in, I think it was the Battle Across Time double pack. I think it was that one that had Grimlock and an Earth mode Mirage, I believe was the partner character, was the second character. But here's a sort of funny observation. This figure is a direct repaint of that Grimlock, who was in turn a retool and repaint of the Kingdom Voyager Dinobot. However, that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is that Grimlock was a figure back in the 96 set, I think in the 97 set or something. I don't remember which year it was, but the original deluxe Dinobot figure was repainted as a Grimlock, which was like white and gray in color. And the color scheme was like white and gray. So I find it funny that whatchamacallit, this toy accurate version is repainted from Grimlock. But back in the day, it was this colored version, this version of Dinobot, which is the original deluxe figure, was then repainted into Grimlock, and here they kind of did the reverse. That's just a funny observation. Oh, and one final sort of note to end on. This figure in my area was a really big shelf warmer when he was there. No one got this figure, which is a shame because he's great. However, this came out. I actually looked into it. He only came out like a handful of months after the Kingdom figure, and even less time from that Grimlock, which was an Amazon exclusive. So I kind of felt that this guy was a shelf warmer because the timing was off. I think they released this figure way too soon. And yeah, it's obviously not a bad figure, but I felt like they made it way too soon because no one was asking for it. I mean, it's cool, it's a toy accurate figure, but you can tell this was just a quick repaint just to put it out there. And they even made it part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, which, what's the correlation? I mean, I'm kind of surprised they didn't stick a Cheetor in there, because I feel that he would have made more sense. Why Dinobot? That Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, it makes no sense. I always figured when I first saw it, it would just be, oh, it's like Bumblebee or, the Bumblebee type characters across the entire Transformer series, they were going to get represented. But then they started putting in like random characters, and I'm like, why? Like this, why? What's the connection? A Cheetor would have made more sense. But yeah, that's honestly my one complaint. I felt like this figure was kind of released too soon and was part of the wrong line. That's just my opinion. Still an excellent figure. You can't go wrong with him. If you can still find them, you can probably find them relatively easily. I still, even now, I still find him every now and then at Target since he's their exclusive. But yeah, overall, final thoughts, fantastic figure. It was a wonderful present from my lovely wife, Enerjane. Super happy I have it. Now I have the trifecta, which I accidentally now have. But it doesn't matter. It's still great. So yeah, this has been my review of the Transformers Legacy. The Transformers Buzzworthy Bumblebee Voyager class Dinobot. This is Composite Enerjoe signing off. Peace out and be safe.